Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button down below for content like this and many more. For all your current subscribers, I just want to continue to say thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Before I begin, I want to give a big thank you to Mitsubishi for allowing me to review this vehicle in my home test area. This is my first Mitsubishi product and hopefully of many more. Now, what I will have next to me, this is a 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. And I'm gonna tell you guys in this video how this is very much like an EV, but behaves like an EV, but it's not an EV, obviously, it's a plug-in hybrid. I'll demonstrate that in the video, talk about the features, the technology, and the luxuries. Stay tuned, that is coming up next. All right, let's begin. This is a 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid. Yes, a little bit of a mouthful. So it's the acronym for this is PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And I say electric vehicle because this, you can plug it in and it behaves like an EV. You can drive it in EV mode. So let's start the walk around in the front. I guess, look is subjective and taste is subjective. You got this massive front grille, which is mostly fake up here. All of this is fake. There's no ventilation there. You got the giant Outlander badge on the hood. The actual grille is actually down here. So this is where you see the grille. There's the radar cruise control sensor, one of the 360 camera, because this vehicle has 360 camera. More opening right here, and then of course down here you have all the cooling, parking sensors all around the front bumper and the back. So as you guys can see, it's flickering on camera, but it does not flicker in real life. That's just the way, unfortunately, lighting comes out on camera. This is the actual daytime running light slash parking light, and then as you can see here, these are the turn signals. So what looks like it would be the headlight is not. The headlight is actually down here. So these are low beam right here, low beam, and then high beams down here, and then an actual fog light, which is nice. And this is something you don't really see in most modern cars nowadays, headlight washers. So these suckers will come out and then spray the headlight with a little splash when you're driving in the winter or whatever to keep the headlights clean. Now, walking around the side, my tester is sitting on 255, 45, 20-inch wheels wrapped in Nexen Roadman tires, Rodian tires, excuse me. These wheels are very beefy and very wide for an SUV. Not a lot of SUVs have 255 tires. You do have letting everybody know that you're driving a plug-in hybrid EV badge right there on the side. Integrated turn signal for the mirrors. There's the little one of the cameras for the 360. And walking around this, it's actually not a bad looking SUV. I'm not 100% sold on the front end, but again, that's just me. This is a kind of like a black and white motif here. This is they call it diamond white with black portion of the roof. The whole roof is black, which is kind of nice. The taillights are in combination LED and incandescent. So you have incandescent turn signal. You got the LED right here, LED brake, third brake, LED brake light. You got more of those parking sensors in the back. Let's take a quick peek of the cargo area because it is big. This is a 7-passenger SUV. As you guys can see, there is a lot of room back here. And I'll show you later on in the interior portion. The third seat hides underneath this. So there's a quick look at the interior. So let's continue walking around the outside of the plug-in hybrid Outlander. Oh, and before I forget, this is where the EV-ness of this Outlander, starts. So behind door number 1, you have the connectors. So on this side you have the J1772 standard EV plug, pretty much for everybody except Tesla. So this, you can go anywhere and charge it. This one is a bit of a rarity because it's a CHAdeMO. So this is primarily used in Europe and overseas, and not that many cars have this plug. You know, cars, for example, cars like the Nissan Leaf has this, and very few cars have this, which is the dying breed. So it doesn't have the traditional CCS charger, which is this and another one on the bottom. Anyways, this gives you an all-electric range of 38 miles on a full charge, which is very good. And that's where the EV-ness come in. And of course, you got the fuel gauges over here. Traditional fuel gauge. And let me open that for a second so you guys can see. And there it goes. Took a little bit of a delay, but and there it is. There's the regular fuel door. Non-hybrid models, I think the fuel door is on the other side. But anyway, let's take a look at the interior, the technology, all the features. Before we go in the interior section, let's take a look what's under the hood of the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. So on the left-hand side, you have a 2.4-cylinder engine. By itself, it makes 181 horsepower, but because this is a plug-in hybrid, it has an electric motor on the right. So total system power is about 248 horsepower and 332 pounds-feet of torque, with a Mitsubishi claimed 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds. So that's pretty much the powertrain, and this vehicle also has an electric motor in the rear, which makes it all-wheel drive. So 2 electric motors and 1 gas engine. Let's take a look at the interior, the tech, and then we go for a final drive. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's start the video in the back of the Outlander because it's interesting. The third row is a little interesting how it works on this car. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there it is. So, under here is a third row seat, and you fold it like so, and then you pull this guy up here, and then you got a little bit of a trunk, deep well. This vehicle does have a subwoofer, so it's hidden underneath this panel. And as you can see, the third row is pretty much a joke. It's not that big. Unfortunately, yes, you can move these seats forward and have a little bit of room, but it's mostly intended for little kids. This is the massive, these headrests are massive, as you can see. They look like giant flaps, and fold them, of course, you can just fold them back like so. But it's very big. I mean, it's not that big in there. I will try to squeeze in later on in the interior portion, but I just wanted to show you folks what that looks like in terms of the third seat. So to fold them, you just pull this tab, and I believe that's number 2. Nope, that's 3, and this is 4, and then you pull 4, and then it folds like so. Then you have a massive cargo area, which is actually decent. So this vehicle shares its platform with the Nissan Rogue, because Nissan and Mitsubishi are partners, and this shares, it's basically a giant Rogue with a plug-in hybrid system in it, but there's a lot of different technologies that Mitsubishi uses that you will not find in a Rogue. Now, let's get inside the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander. Keep in mind, this is the top of the line trim, so this is the SEL, and it has every single option you can possibly get. So this one has the diamond quilted leather pattern, which is very nice and soft. All of this right here is soft, which is very nice. Same for the materials here. I do like the chrome finish window controls. You got power folding mirrors. It has memory for 2 drivers, which remembers the mirrors, the seat, and the heads-up display. And funny enough, it has memories for the passenger as well, which is kind of hilarious. These are the controls for your dimmer, fuel open close door, and then the household style outlet, which lives in the trunk, to open the hatch, heads-up display. This is for the charging, to open and close the charge door. And this vehicle does have massaging seats. You know, you barely feel them, but they're there. You turn it on right here, power seat, 4-way lumbar support, which is not also common. And again, this is a 7-passenger plug-in hybrid vehicle. So let's get inside. And it's not a bad place to be. You do have a 9-inch infotainment screen with a LCD or LED instrument cluster. Let's put the foot on the brake. Power start button is right here. And there it is. The vehicle comes to life. And as you guys can see, it's a full LCD screen. It has a lot of bongs and bangs in here. Let me close that shade. It's getting a little toasty, and turn on the climate control. And let me dismiss that message. So this is one of the screen that you can configure. So here on the left, it tells you charge, EV mode, a little bit of RPM, battery level, because this has a 20 kilowatt hour battery, because it is a plug-in hybrid vehicle after all. But you could change this. This vehicle is very configurable, especially the screen. So you have energy flow meter, battery temperature in this particular screen. You have what the all-wheel drive system is doing, and the steering. So you could turn this when it's in drive, and put it in drive here. And let's see if it does it. Nope, it's not doing it. It's making me look bad. But this does it when you're driving. It gives you the angle, the steering. It tells you what the all-wheel drive system is doing, if it's front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. And let's continue cycling through. This video might be a bit long because I want to cover as much content as I can. This is the traffic sign recognition system. And this is your settings, so you can go in here and do all system settings for the vehicle, heads-up display, and so on. And going back to, this is your navigation screen. So if you have navigation turned on, it will show you navigation. And this vehicle does have heads-up display. It might be difficult to pick up on camera, but let me see if I can zoom in. And there it is. You guys see the little floating 0 and the miles per hour. So it'll show you traffic sign recognition, vehicle and adaptive cruise control information, and things of that nature. This vehicle has a 9-speaker Bose sound system, and it actually it sounds very well. So if you want to change the screen, you press this button here on the left side of the steering wheel. Go there, click on change meter view, and the instrument cluster changes completely. As you can see, it's kind of like a rolling little drums for the speedo and everything. And then when you go to the energy screen for the vehicle, it changes. You can see the entire car. A lot of information it gives you. Let's see if I go back there it is. So this tells you what the vehicle is doing. That's the energy flow meter. So if I put it in drive and drive it a little bit, you'll see the vehicle right now is basically in EV mode, because I'm driving it. It's a hybrid after all. But anyway, let's continue. So the steering wheel is very nicely padded, very leather wrapped. It feels very nice in the wheel and in your hand. Media controls are here, and then there's the button to control that LCD screen. Track forward, backwards. This is also the settings menu in there. Back button is right here. On the right hand side, you have the cruise control and voice control. Pick up and hang up button is right here. You do have paddle shifters, but they're not for shifting. When in EV mode, they're mostly for regen braking. So this vehicle does have regenerative braking, which is nice to see, because then you could maximize your regen energy. So what that does is it captures the energy normally lost, and it sends it back to the battery. So right now it's on B3. You could do B5, and it takes all that energy and sends it into the battery, which is a nice little feature to have in a non-EV. And continuing looking in the interior, it is very nice. This is the sticker price for this as tested is $50,000, because it is the absolute mostly expensive version of the Outlander. So this is a 9-inch infotainment screen. It does offer Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, not wirelessly. You have to plug it in via this USB port right here, USB A and USB C. You do have a regular power port outlet, and it does have wireless charging, which lives right here. And looking at the center stack here, let me close that shade because it is a little bright, and there it goes, much better. So the shifter is electronic, so you push a brake and you put back. You have to push this button here for reverse, and then the vehicle goes into reverse, and it activates the 360 camera. As you guys can see, you got all different angles. You could do the mirrors. So if you do, that shows you right mirror, the whole back. So it's pretty neat. It's really neat to see that, and it shows you all kinds of angles and helpful. And of course, the car is beeping because it is electric vehicle, hybrid. So it tells you, you know, it activates a noise so folks can hear the car backing up. And let's go back to the main screen. Let's just do this. And that's the main screen there. That's the navigation screen. If you go to home menu, this is basically the home screen. And you can control this. And it's not too bad. It's a peppy system. It does have weather, stocks, satellite radio, XM, traffic, and all that good stuff. I primarily have been using the Android Auto on my phone. On the information screen, you have EV, so it tells you the energy usage, charging stations, timer, EV settings, all that fun jazz. And it does have, of course, satellite radio, like I mentioned. And let's continue and going into the interior down here. I like the fact that it has physical controls for the climate. It's not buried into the screen. So this vehicle has the heated seat control right here, or the dual zone climate control, and including the rear. So it has a third zone right there. Heated mirrors, heated steering wheel. And if we continue here, you have the different drive mode selector. So you have eco, power, normal, and sand, and all these stuff. And I'll show you in the screen what that does. So right now it's in normal mode. So there is eco. There's eco. There is power. This one is tarmac. This one is gravel, snow, and mud. I don't know how many people are going to take these things off-road like this, but it's nice to have it. So I guess in different weather conditions, you can adjust the vehicle accordingly to the weather outside. And I do like the diamond quilted pattern on the leather seats, which is very nice. They are very comfortable. This vehicle does have a massive panoramic sunroof that goes all the way to the back, as you guys can see, almost to the third row, but not really, not quite. And decent sized glove box. Well, nothing crazy. There it is. And cubby is a little on the small side, but that's okay. You can't have it all. This button here, you can control. You can make this in one pedal driving, so you can press this on, and basically it behaves like an EV. And that's where the EV-ness come into play, where you can basically drive this with one pedal, which is interesting. So the second you lift the foot of the accelerator, the vehicle starts slowing down. You can turn it on. Here, this button here, it says EV. If you turn that on, you'll see it says EV, save, charge. So what that does is it turns on the engine and it starts charging the battery. As you can see, the battery indicator is right here, which is, it says 26 miles right now because I have the climate control. And you can see the little indication. Let me zoom in real quick so you guys can see that. There is a little graphical interface of the engine letting you know that it's pumping energy into the battery, which is kind of neat. And if I turn off the climate control, you see that the battery level jumps to 29. What that means is you can drive this car 100% on electric power only. And that's one of the benefits of getting a plug-in hybrid, because most of them allow you to do that and drive in EV mode for an extended period of time. The Outlander can drive up to 38 miles, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video. And this is a very useful screen. This is the first time I see a plug-in hybrid vehicle that allows you to charge itself, literally tell it to charge, which is kind of cool, without charging it. So basically, let's say you drive to work and you're low on battery, you can turn charging mode all the way until you get to work, and you may, depending on your commute, you can drive back 100% on electric power only, which is very, 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 very cool. So let's take a look at the back seat, and then we go for a quick drive. Stay tuned for that. All right, let's step inside the back of the Outlander, Mitsubishi Outlander 2023. And the Panda, it looks like a Panda kind of, like, the white and the black, this little trim here. It's very nice. I mean, so same materials as in the front seat, which is nice. And thank you, Mitsubishi, for not cheaping out. Some car companies will like to cheap out in the back. This vehicle has auto up and down all 4 windows. And you do have built-in sunshade, which is very nice. This way passengers in the rear are not stifling on a hot summer day like today. And let's step inside the back seat. The seat is adjusted to how I drive. And right now I move the seat a little bit forward because I am going to demonstrate the third seat, but it is adjustable. So if you push it all the way to the back, you have plenty of leg room. Monumental if there's nobody in the third seat. So this is the controls for the third climate control here, for the rear climate control. As you guys can see, you do have nice little vents, heated seats back here, and you got a little control here for your screen for the climate. You do have nice little pocket here. I guess you could put your cell phone or other items. More pocket right here. This is very nice. This is very convenient. And they definitely it looks like they were thinking of families when they were designing this vehicle. You do have lighting all the way around. There's a look at the panoramic sunroof, which is very nice. And the seats, both sides recline. So if I put it in the most upright position, there's a look at the legroom, which of course is going to shrink. And let me demonstrate and get into the back seat, the third row of this Outlander. So I guess you press right here, and this seat slides forward like so. And let me get in here, and it looks like it might be a very tight fit. Oh yeah, I do not fit in here. My head is touching. Let me see if I can flip the camera a little bit. My head is touching the ceiling. So this, let me just turn. As you guys can see, I have to do this in order to fit back here. Yeah, this is not built for adults. This is primarily built for kids, of course. But overall, the seats are nice. I don't know if they're real leather or synthetic leather, but it does feel nice. There is no vents back here. There are no USB of any kind. So this is definitely an emergency seat in most cases. I believe the battery sits underneath this third row seat. So let's go back to the front seat before I feel close to forward back here. And let me just move this forward. And yeah, that third seat, there's a look at what it looks like when it's fully extended and open, with a giant headrest in the back that look like giant ears. But anyway, let's go back to the third seat, the second row, normal, and these seats recline, which is nice. So I do recline, so you can be comfortable back here. Cup holders live right here. If I can open it, right, let me get this back to straight, and let me see if I can open this cup holder. Oh, I have to pull this to release it. But anyway, the cup holders are in an odd position because they're in this middle section here, which is interesting, and you can't even fold it easily, which is not a good design in my opinion. It should be easy foldable, because you got to pull this little string here, and I can't do it with one hand because I'm holding the camera. But overall, it's not a bad place to be. It is comfortable. I will say that third seat is mostly for emergency use case scenario. All right, let's take this Mitsubishi Outlander for a drive, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, let's drive the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Plug-in Hybrid. I know, it's a mouthful. All right, let me get this situated here, and I will demonstrate the different capabilities of this car. So I will start the video in, let's do EV mode. So right now I have about 27 miles of electric range, electric driving range. So right now, basically, the vehicle is behaving just like an EV. So it's not using a drop of fuel at this moment, which is interesting because this is basically like an EV without being an EV, without the compromises and the drawbacks of, you know, for folks who have a little bit of range anxiety and things of that nature. So driving here, and if you're stopping on it, it does pick up and go. It does drive like a normal car. You know, I'm driving here in my local street, and I'm 100% electric, which is very cool. Not using a drop of fuel, and then hard to see that on camera, I'm sure, but the screen is telling me right now that it's basically using the battery. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, if you want to charge your battery, which is cool, you could just press this button again and go to charge. And then right now the gas engine is behaving like a little generator, and where it's charging the battery. But then immediately when you do that, you do have more power. So of course the gas engine is running 131 horsepower, which is low, but 332 pounds-feet of torque. Mitsubishi claims 0 to 60 is about 6.1 seconds or 6.5. For an SUV of this size, I would say that's okay. That's not too bad. And I will jump on the highway for a second. So demonstrate you guys a little bit of the oomph that this has. And you hear the engine, of course, because I'm stepping on it. And if I put it in power mode, tarmac, let me put it in power. It does get up and go. And being that this thing has 255 width tires, they're beefy, they're wide. So it drives great. It drives very good. I would say this is a very good compromise for folks who don't want, they're a little uncertain about electric vehicles just yet. This is a good example of a good choice. So putting it back to normal mode, and let's see, normal. Now the engine, I notice immediately it turns off the engine, and it's basically running on EV only for the most part, because it is a hybrid at the end of the day. So being a hybrid vehicle, it will go back and forth between electric and gas, and do that dance all in itself. And this is pretty much it. It's been a pleasure. It's been nice to drive this vehicle in my home test area and get to live with it, of course. And once again, thank you so much, Mitsubishi, and thank you all for watching, because without you, these videos are not possible. And it's all because of the support that you guys give me and the viewership. And of course, if you subscribe, you guys will help me get even higher and keep on growing, and I can continue to provide content like this and more in the future. But this has been my first quick look, or should I say full review, of the 2023 Oh, and there's the sensors complaining that I'm getting too close, which is nice. The, 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Plug-in Hybrid. And thank you for watching again, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care and stay safe.